Good morning, Juco Editz family, and welcome to Season 5, Episode 38 of the Juco Editz podcast. Today, I'm joined by head coach of the Little Rock Trojans, Chris Curry. Coach Curry, welcome to the podcast.
Morning, Aiden. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate all you guys do, and a special place in my heart for all of us Juco bandits,
Well, Coach, I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day, and we're going to reflect on your baseball career so far.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so Coach, first you went to Conway High School. I want you to talk to me about playing at Conway first.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Little Rock, and mom and dad, because of work, moved to Conway, and really a historic, Hall of Fame coaching staff there with Noel Boucher and Barry Luters. Coach Noel Boucher was a minor league player, I believe in the Astros farm system, and really taught us all the details, how to play hard, just toughness. Barry Luters, great pitching coach, had Jordan Wicks actually on his staff in high school, taught him Jordan's changeup. And those two guys prepared me immediately to go play in high school. And it was a big 7A high school, and played at the highest level, and played with a lot of guys that played at the college level, and have had 4 or 5 draft picks over the years come out of Conway.
So next, Coach, you were drafted by the Giants out of high school. I want you to talk to me about that.
Sure. Tiny Thomas, he's a legendary scout. He's from the Texas area, and he had Missouri at the time. He is just an incredible human being, and watched me play a ton. I think the first time that he saw me play, I was at a showcase in Missouri. And everything, there was no internet, did not exist, if you can imagine that. Didn't put video out there, didn't put any of your, they had to come see you play. They would bring wood bats in the trunk of their car.
Oh, wow.
They would throw you BP in the cage with a wood bat just to see you swing with a wood. Academy didn't have wood bats. You couldn't just grow, there was no Marucci or anywhere else you could order one. And so the scouts had the wood bats they would get from the big teams. And so he would come and work us out. We would also go to pro tryouts. My first ever pro tryout was at 15. I got invited by a scout that was following me, and that was on a college campus. And that's the only way they saw you. But Tiny Thomas was still a friend of mine, but the scout that drafted me.
So after your coach, you decided to take the Juco route. I want you to talk to me about going to Meridian.
Yeah, the key there, I think just like today, the key there for me, and I got great advice from my high school coach and other people around me, was to play. And I had opportunities to go to, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Mississippi State was interested, but I had some really good counsel around me of folks saying, hey, the key is to play. Also, Aiden, they had at that time the draft and follow. Don't know how familiar you are with that. It's an old term, but the team could draft you, the major league team, and then they had your negotiating rights up to 7 days till next year's draft. So let's just say, for example, a kid got drafted in the 26th draft. He could negotiate with that team all the way until 7 days before the 27 draft. And
wow.
Junior. And obviously the rule is the same today. When you enroll in a 4-year school, you got to wait till you're 21 or your 3rd year. And I felt like I was a year away, maybe 2 at the most. Plus I wanted to play, and that's why I picked Meridian Junior College. Again, no website, no Twitter. They sent me their media guide, and I thought that it looked really, really cool. And I saw them play in 1996 against Northeast Texas. Ty Harrington was the coach on ESPN, maybe 2, on the junior college national championship.
So then next, Coach, you were drafted twice by the Tigers out of Juco, but ultimately you decided to go to Mississippi State. Talk to me about that decision.
Yeah, so the Tigers obviously didn't sign with the Giants. Went out and played summer ball at the Coastal Plains League. The very first year that it was started, I was in Outer Banks. I was an Outer Banks Daredevil, a really cool name. And I think the Tigers saw me in junior college. Moved up to the 17th round. Still didn't think it was time to go just yet. had just committed to Mississippi State, and went back, played my freshman and sophomore years at Meridian, had really good teams there. So there were 16 other draft and follow guys on my junior college team, 16 draft picks.
Wow.
I saw, 11 or 12 was maybe the highest in the country for a Power Four program. At our junior college, we had 16 drafted. Four ended up playing in the big leagues down the road, and so that was another draw. Plus Scott Berry, I mentioned before, just a mentor as a man to me, and he was a catching guy. I was a catcher, and I really felt like I was developing well under him, playing at a high level, and so turned down the Tigers, went to Cape Cod.
Okay,
Tommy Raffo, great coach and coach that I respect, just retired. They sent me to play for Scott Pickler at YD, and I played there, made the All-Star team, and then went to Mississippi State, was recruited and signed by the great Ron Polk. He actually retired for a year before going to Georgia, if you remember.
Okay, yeah.
Played for Pat McMahon, Jim Case, and Tommy Raffo, and then ultimately signed.
Okay, so you end up going to Mississippi State. I want you to talk to me about your playing career there and then getting drafted by the Cubs.
Yes, so I had an absolute blast. Mississippi State, I'd always watched from afar. 1998, they had gone to Omaha. I'd watched them on television. I tell people I'm kind of half Mississippi. My mom's from Clarksville, Mississippi, in the Delta, and I was very familiar with that. I played junior college in Mississippi. A bunch of my friends were at Mississippi State. They did a great job of making contact with me early, developing the relationship. At the time, they had the biggest and best stadium, and arguably still do. Arguably,
yeah,
it's debatable, but let's agree they're in the top 5, right?
Right.
And so I just love the atmosphere, the fans, the food, the winning, the development. Clark and Palmero, lightning, thunder and lightning, all of that comes with Mississippi State baseball. And so signed with them, and another legendary scout who has passed away, Jim Crawford, nickname was Crawdaddy.
Okay.
He is passed on, but was just a legendary scout with the Cubs. He had followed me through my days at Meridian Junior College, and then just to give a frame of reference of where the money was at that time, because certainly I didn't get rich. I signed for $60,000 in the 9th round, and that was slot money. And of course, I learned immediately what the IRS and government meant, because I only received $45,000 of that, which is a lot of money. But let's just say it went fast.
Yeah. Okay, and then next, coach, talk to me about playing in the Cubs organization.
Yep. So 99, I was sent to Eugene, Oregon. I was a Eugene Emerald, and played there for my first year in short season A-ball. They don't have that anymore. A lot of college drafts were sent there. And then the next year, I played on all 5 teams in the organization, because I was a defensive catch and throw guy.
Yeah.
And I started out in Daytona as a Daytona Cub. Went to Lansing, Michigan, and was a Lansing Lugnut, and then went up to AAA with the Des Moines, the Iowa Cubs, and then back down to AA, Jackson, Tennessee Diamond Jacks, and then finished back in High A with the Daytona team. All of that was due to injury. Yeah, the minor league life is so crazy. What triggered it was Todd Hundley, who had just had the year before the great year with left-handed hitter with the Mets. He came over to the Cubs and got injured, and so domino effect, had a back spasm, and they sent the AAA guy up, sent the AA guy up, and so I got bumped up to AAA there for a while, and so that was a lot of fun.
Okay, so next, coach, I want you to take me stop by stop through your coaching career and what ultimately made you get into coaching.
Yeah, so baseball's all I've ever known. I feel like that's my talent, and I feel like that's what I love to do. I can't imagine, doing anything else. Back then especially, you didn't make any money in the minor leagues, and so as an off-season side job, I was a substitute teacher.
Okay.
And then after school was over, I would do hitting lessons, pitching lessons, fielding lessons, whatever, at my high school. And Coach Boucher was kind enough to allow me to do that, just to pay the rent. I wasn't a bonus baby, as we talked about, and
Yeah.
so had to work. And many times the minor leaguers back then, before the new bargaining agreement, and they took care of them like they do now, you had to have another job. And so in working with kids, I really fell in love with teaching and coaching the game. And you get all kinds of swings and deliveries and mechanics, good, bad, ugly, when you're working with kids. And so you got to start somewhere. And so I just really loved teaching it. But then also, I played for great coaches, and I saw that modeled for me. And towards the end of my career, when I realized that the big leagues was going to be, going to be tough for me to break in, I kind of started migrating towards the instructors. Not to kiss up or anything, but just to talk the game and listen, and managing the game, and why you attack a hitter this way, why you call pitches this way, what button defense do we need to be in, double cuts, relays, what approach offensively do we need to have, and that all made sense to me, and really drew me in. And so as I got towards the end of my career, I knew that I wanted to coach, but I knew that I did not want to coach in professional baseball,
Okay.
because of what I had lived, having been bounced around team to team, and I actually finished my career with the Giants.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Asked for my release from the Cubs because I was in a log jam, had a lot of older catchers in front of me. I was getting older, knew that it was time for me to try to get innings and play as I'm hanging on. So they released me. I had a great experience with the Giants. Spent 3 years in Double-A. Played for Willie Upshaw, Shane Turner, Ross Grimsley, Bob Stanley, and really enjoyed being around those guys and learning from them. And realized at that point that I wanted to be a baseball coach, but not in pro ball.
Okay, so first, Coach Curry, first coaching job you had was at Hendrix. I want you to talk to me about that.
Yeah, I would call it a hybrid job. And so my
Okay.
good friend R.J. Thomas, played at the same high school, he was the head coach there, and I needed a place to take BP and work out to get ready for spring training. And so I went to RJ at Hendrix, and I said, it was in my hometown of Conway, and I said, hey, do you mind if I take BP with the guys, if I fill in, just to get reps? He said, I'll make you a deal. You got to help me coach. And I said, what? And so he said, yeah, when you are available and you're here before you go to spring training, I'll give you a pullover and some pants, game pants, and jump in the dugout with us. And I did, until spring training started, and loved it. And spent time in the dugout immediately, just talking to players as they came off the field, talking to hitters after at bats. What were you looking for? What were you thinking? What did you feel? In practice, running drills, PFP, bunt Ds, double cuts, everything. And I just, it made sense to me. I saw the field. It made sense to me where everybody was supposed to go. Everything that I had been taught, all the way back to Noel Boucher, Scott Berry, Pat McMahon, Jim Case, and then all through the minor leagues was, and it was right there at the front of my brain. And so I felt like it came naturally to me to be able to remember what everybody was supposed to do on every play, and I fell in love with it. But it's kind of like the old days of player coach. I didn't get to play for Hendrix, but I was still playing myself, but then I would coach him as well.
Okay, so then next, Coach Curry, you go to Division II Arkansas Tech. I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, so there's a little gap in there because I was still playing while helping Hendrix coach a little bit professionally. Then went to spring training finally after a year of independent ball in Gary, Indiana.
Okay, yeah.
Made it to the last day. Dayton Moore and J.J. Piccolo had come over from the Atlanta Braves to rebuild the Kansas City Royals farm system and they did, and they won. They won a World Series there. Salvi Perez, Luke Hochevar, those guys. But I was there their first year they got there, and they brought me in, and they'll tell you they brought me in as just a bullpen catcher, is going to help them get through spring training, and I just played really well. I don't know why. It was the best spring training I've ever had. They told me when they called me in the office the last day, hey, we had plans of cutting you 2 weeks ago. We couldn't. You were playing too well, and they had a Rule 5 trade. A guy named Donahue had been sent to the Orioles. Did not make the big league roster, and so the Rule 5 rule is if the player does not make the roster on the big leagues on the other team, they get sent back. Well, they called me in and said, hey, he's 29. You're 29. He's 21. We're going to keep him. But do you want to coach? Do you want to stay with us and be an instructor? And I shook their hands and said, thank you, but no thank you. I want to go back to college. Walked out to the parking lot, 9 in the morning, called my wife, and I said, hey, we're done. And we've been married a couple of years. Hey, we're done. I'm coming home. Just got released. Are you okay? I am fine. My shoulder hurts. I've been playing 8 years. It is time to hang them up. I got a flight in the morning. I'll be back in Conway tomorrow.
Okay, so then Arkansas Tech.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry I chased a rabbit there.
Oh, no, it's all good, Coach. It's all good.
Arkansas Tech. So I realized to be a full-time coach, salary and benefits, because I was married, I needed to have a degree. And so I called around to kind of drew like a 3-hour circle around my house and called the registrars and the academic advisors and with my transcript, tried to find the place that accepted the most hours. And Arkansas Tech took the most hours that I had from Meridian and Mississippi State. And so I needed to graduate as quickly as I could. And the registrar said she would work with me. I had to do 42 hours in 2 semesters and a summer. And, And so I did like 19 in the fall, 20, 21 in the spring, and then the remainder in the summer. All the while, Billy Goss hired me, and he said, I don't have a full-time spot for you, but I have a $5,000 student assistant job. And so I took it. My good friends Wes and Will McCrotty were coaching there already. Both were drafted. Will was a 4th rounder with the Dodgers, I think made it to AAA. Wes, Marlins, played at Arkansas. So I wanted to coach with my buddies there, but I did lessons, and when practice was over, man, I started like at 6 o'clock at night, and I went to 10 p.m. at night, and that's how we, paid the bills. Not crying about it. I'm not a victim. That's what you do when you're young. But I spent 1 year at Division II Arkansas Tech, loved it there as well, coaching those guys. Again, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that's what I wanted to do was teach ball players.
Okay, and then next coach, assistant coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Talk about that.
Yeah, kind of got the call, got the big jump, and so it's all in coaching, it's network and relationships, and so Todd Butler was at Arkansas with Dave Jorn and Coach Van Horn and Clay Goodwin, and Todd Butler had recruited me when he was at Alabama from Meridian. I didn't go to Alabama, but I had a relationship with Todd Butler. And actually spoke at one of their coaches' clinic. I filled in to speak about catching, and I think they, liked what they heard. And the old volunteer position, it came open, and so Coach Van Horn called me and kind of interviewed me on the phone, and then asked if I'd like to drive up and talk, and absolutely, and then offered me the job that summer, the summer of '08. And so the fall of '08, the spring of '09 is my first year at Arkansas. I was the third coach, the volunteer. I coached first base. I coached catchers. I helped out with Coach Butler on the offensive side. Learned a ton with Todd Butler. Wow. Still use things today, drills that he taught, and what a masterful recruiter he was and is. We had a really good team. I had James McCann, who's still with the Diamondbacks. And a bunch of future big leaguers, Brett Eibner, Drew Smiley, Dallas Keuchel, Matt Bolsinger, one more, Andy Wilkins, I think, made it to the big leagues. and went to Omaha in '09 and a Supers at Arizona State in '10.
Okay, so then after that, you become the head coach at your former JUCO, Meridian.
Yep.
Talk about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I can relate to young coaches out there. I applied for the head coaching job at the University of Central Arkansas, Division One in the Southland Conference at the time. That was my hometown. I thought that was going to be, the magical job that was made for me, and it was a match. I was 29, but I finished second to Alan Gum, a good friend of mine. I should have finished second. I wasn't ready, and Alan was. They were coming off national rankings at SAU Division Two in
Yep.
Magnolia, and doing a great job. And he went on, Alan Gunn, to do a great job at Central Arkansas. But I got a call from a scout friend of mine, Damon Ionelli, one of the best scouts I know. I think he's a national cross checker, special assistant with the Rockies. He said, "Hey, the Meridian job is open," and I said, "Wow!" So I immediately called everybody I knew and went down and interviewed with the AD and the president, and took the job at Meridian Junior College as the head coach at 29 years old.
Okay, so then after that, coach, you end up going to Northwestern State as an assistant. I want you to talk about that.
You bet. So again, here, there's a reoccurring theme here. It's about networking relationships. Lane
Yes.
Burroughs, who had played at Meridian and coached there, was at Mississippi State, right down the road from Meridian. He was coaching get this, you want to hear a coaching staff: John Cohen, head coach; Butch Thompson, pitching coach; Lane Burroughs, hitting coach, recruiting coordinator, uh, and then Nick Mingione was the
Wow.
third coach. I think Will Coggin and Nick Amorati were GAs. So talk about a
Wow.
staff
That's a
uh,
staff.
of great ones. Well, Lane Burroughs and I communicated all the time on recruiting in junior college. And Lane wanted to be a head coach and took Northwestern State to rebuild it, and called me and said, "Hey, buddy, you want to come over and rebuild this thing, be in Division One in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and be my pitching guy?" I said, "Absolutely." I think uh, both of us left our wives, back at our jobs, and we lived out of the Holiday Inn Express there in Natchitoches, Louisiana, while we were recruiting and trying to sign that team there for a month. So we got pretty close, needless to say, for the first month.
Okay, so then next, coach, 2015 rolls around.
Yep.
I want you to talk to me about getting the job at Little Rock and how much it meant to you.
Man, the first year, it goes back to Northwestern State. The first year we took our lumps. We didn't cut any of the players at Northwestern. We got our butts kicked. We only won 17 games. But in the meantime, we went out and signed 33 players, two future big leaguers, and Adam Aller and Fry, and
Okay.
who's up with the Guardians, and won 33 games and finished second overall. Well, that summer I got a call from a very, very, very close friend of mine who's from Little Rock, who said, "Hey, I want you to come interview for this Little Rock job." And my first reaction was, "No, I'm not interested. We got it rolling here. I don't think you can win at Little Rock. They've struggled. The stadium is off campus. It's hard to get players there. I'm not sure if the resources are there from the administrative standpoint." And so my buddy talked me into it and said, "Well, at least, come in for 24 hours, see the family. I'll take you to get dinner. We'll catch up and you can go back." And so on the process of the interview, after seeing the field and after, seeing the campus, and I had always, even though I'm from here, I'd always just been to the field. I hadn't been to campus. It was better than I thought. I thought the campus was better than I thought. I thought the housing was better. And then I looked at the field after having been through junior college and been through college, and said, there's some things we can do here to make this place better. And so took the job at 34 years old, and that lonely feeling that every head coach has right after the press conference, where everybody's patting you on the back and everybody's telling you good job, but then you go to the office and it's just quiet, and you got one manila folder there on the desk, and it's got the roster in there, it's got the budget, it's got the scholarships, and
Yeah.
it's you, nobody else. And you got to go get on the phone, you got to hire a staff, you got to hire you not hire players, you got to sign players. And um, I didn't know what I was doing, so I was learning on the job. But made some good decisions early. I hired Russell Rayleigh,
Okay.
um, third base coach at Oklahoma now, and
Yep.
I hired Roland Fanning, who's the head coach at Austin Peay. And those were my first two hires. And those guys did a great job for us of getting us off the ground and getting us rolling.
So next, Coach, I want you to talk to me about your guys' time in the Sun Belt before you switched over to the OVC.
Yeah, I think you had mentioned early a welcome to D1 moment. I think when I, as a coach, as a player and an assistant, there wasn't an environment at all that I was very starstruck by. Just because as a player, I played at Mississippi State. I played at old Alex Box Stadium. Coach Skip Burton recruited me. Ray Tanner recruited me. I'd been around college baseball at a high level and met, the big names, the icons. But when you're a coach and it's all on your shoulders and you're expected to win and it's your win-loss record. I remember in the summer going to the Sun Belt head coaches meeting and sitting in the conference room there in the Superdome, which is an
Okay. Yeah.
intimidating building on its own. We actually weren't on the football field; we were in the offices anyway. Gary Gilmore was there. Tony Robichaux, who's passed on now, was there. Mark Calvey was there. Coach Pierce, who built the Troy program before Mark Smart, took it over and did a great job. All those guys, Rodney Hennon and Kermit and Ty Harrington. And I'm looking around the room, man, and I'm going, man, I made a big mistake. These waters are too deep for me. These guys have won more games than I've even coached in. They have the facilities, they have the resources. They're talking about 4 and 5 cameras for replay. We're talking about 4 umpires. We're talking about all these things. I don't have the budget for this. I'm worried about getting players. I didn't sleep. It was a you stayed the night and then the next day you met again. I didn't sleep that night just thinking about how far behind we were. But made it through it. The first year barely missed the tournament by half a game. The second year, we finished third overall in the entire league and had the player of the year. And then the year after that, I think we finished second. And continued to hire good coaches. Mike Silva was an assistant of mine. Noah Sanders. Then on down the line, Artie Spees, who's now at Tarleton, pitching guy. And I've had a lot of really, really good coaches. But that was my, welcome to coaching moment right there.
Okay, so next, Coach, I want to ask you to talk about the 2024 season.
Sure. So we move into the OVC, which I think was a good move because we don't have football here at Little Rock.
Right.
UTA does not have football, and so both of those schools elected to leave the Ohio Valley, leave the Sun Belt to go. I think UTA went to the WAC, we went to the OVC, and I knew coming from the Sun Belt, being as tough as it is, I was confident we could compete immediately, and so had a great regular season. I believe Jackson Wells, that was the year that he led all of the NCAA in ERA.
Yep.
And it was kind of funny. I think LSU won. Was that Skeens' year at LSU 24? Okay.
Yep.
Skeens finished second in ERA to Little Rock's Jackson Wells.
Wow.
Skeens in the national now Paul Skeens is Paul Skeens, and he pitched in a really good league, and I know that may not be apples to apples there, but I remember that in the final game, LSU had Skeens warming up in the pen. And I think if Skeens had come in and thrown like 1 scoreless innings, he would have moved past Jackson Wells. And
Wow.
so I remember, and we were hoping and praying they did not bring Skeens in. They didn't need him. I think they expanded the league and never brought him in. But anyway, Jackson Wells, we won the regular season pitcher of the year. But we went to the tournament and went 2-0. And
Okay.
I think, Aiden, what happened was, and this is where we started to learn how to be better in the postseason. I think that we exhausted all of our mental, emotional, and physical energy doing everything we possibly could to win the league. And you should win the regular season, and you should do everything that you can to win a championship in 24. But I think when we got to the tournament, there was maybe not a certainly not a give up, but a little bit of a kind of a finish line feel, and then you had to
Okay.
restart it again for the tournament, and we just got beat. We lost two and out, and went home and kind of reassessed over that summer, and said, we need to pace ourselves a little bit. I want to win the regular season and I want to win the tournament both. Very hard to do, and I challenge you to research and find anybody that has done that.
Okay.
Very difficult to win both. And rarely do you see it in college baseball, somebody win the regular season in their conference tournament. Some do, but we figured out how to pace ourselves. We got badly injured in 26, 25,
25. Yep.
and literally limped our way into the tournament. Got in the last day as the eighth seed. But opposite feeling, we felt like, hey, we survived the regular season. Now our season starts, and it's a brand new day. And we were just playing with, that's where the chip in the chair mantra came from. The house money mantra that was big in 25 came from, is we just felt like, man, we got nothing to lose. Nobody expects us
Yeah.
to do anything. And I think we ended up winning, 5 games in 4 days at that tournament, something like that. And then that's when we got sent to the Baton Rouge Regional.
Okay, so then next, coach, I want you to talk to me about playing LSU in 25 and then the magical 26 season.
Yeah, so we win the tournament, first time been done in school history, and everybody, the national writers and everybody that I knew around college baseball, I was texting them going, "What do you think? Where are we going?" "Oh, you're going to Fayetteville. You're going to Arkansas, no brainer. In state, you're right there." And I got a text on Selection Monday as we're watching getting ready to watch the show, from a really, really, really good source. Said, "You are not going to Fayetteville. Best of luck." And he was right, and I can't reveal his name, but
Yeah.
an hour later, I think the very last regional that pops up, Little Rock, going to Baton Rouge. And I figured one of the Mississippi schools, they could send us east, over Atlanta. I didn't care where we went. We were playing with house money, not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And of all places, the 25 LSU team was number one, and
Right.
just an absolute wagon. And why not? Why not get sent to the biggest, toughest regional? And it was us and DBU and Rhode Island, who had a very good club.
Yeah.
And so you send Little Rock to the toughest regional, in college baseball, and man, we just embraced it. So the first night we faced a real good right-hander named Anthony Ianson, and
Yep.
he cut us up pretty good, and I think he's cutting up minor league baseball pretty good
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
he is.
I think he's going to get called up at the end. Thankfully, we missed the left-hander named Cade Anderson, who's pretty good. And so, but I thought, I want to see how on the first night. So the first night, Friday night game, 13,000, it's rocking. But it's a one-run game to like the fifth on game one. And I said, our guys aren't intimidated. They're not sped up. They're not, trying to play too fast. And Ianson's having a good game, but we're battling him. And we only lost like 7-1, and I thought we might lose 17-1 when we walked in there. And so I don't believe in moral victories, but I came away encouraged by the fact that we had a good showing. We hung in there, but that night kind of got us over the environment and over the crowd. And so then, we play the loser's bracket game and win like 22-12 and set a
Yep.
record for the Baton Rouge regional runs scored, which you think about all the Gorilla Ball teams of the 90s and all those teams with Brad Cressy and Larson and Furness. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then had the, uh, um, had the rest of the day off. LSU and DBU played really late, rain delay, which benefited us. I remember I'm in my bedroom watching that thing at like 1 a.m. I'm going, the loser of this game is going to have to get up in the morning and turn around and play. Well, LSU got past DBU. We played DBU the next day. Somehow, I don't know how, beat them. They're really good. I think Dan Hefner's one of the best coaches in college baseball. And then we win against DBU. And I remember the regional, folks coming to us and go, "Hey, you've got about 3 hours off here. We can get a police escort and take you guys back through the crowd and the traffic to your hotel." And so this is where I think that, kind of the toughness, JUCO bandit personality of Little Rock comes through. I said, "Let me ask the guys." And they're like, "Hey," I said, "do you want to go back and shower, change uniform? We can change uniforms, No, coach, we're going to play in these dirty uniforms. Give us our Jimmy John subs, and we're going to sit right here in the dugout." And so, man, we had our Jimmy Johns ordered to the dugout. We sat there and watched the stadium fill up with 13,000 purple and gold fans for the finals against LSU that night. We realized after game one and then winning 2 games, our first 2 ever wins at the regional that night, we just sat in the dugout and, like I said, ate our sandwiches and watched the stadium fill up for the night game. And that's the game that, in my opinion, put Little Rock on the national scene. And a lot of things lined up there. We started the game on maybe ESPN2 or another channel, but by the end of the night, and I think it was because we were up 5-1 in the fifth, we got moved to the ESPN major channel. And so somebody told me it started with 400,000 or 600,000 viewers and jumped to like 2.2 million. And so that's the night that Little Rock really got on the map and won that game, and then had to play again the next night for the finals. And we were up on LSU there in the 5th or 6th inning, and we just ran out of pitching. Our guys were gassed, and they did a great job of coming back on us, and what a great team. And they went on to win the national championship, and it was their only loss in postseason play. And so that momentum is, our recruiting coordinator, Matt Parker, junior college head coach at Eastern Oklahoma, and great players there. He had 2 big leaguers called up this year in Sandlin and Jonah Cox, and immediately we were on the phone. Evan Lee, Charles Gravitt. I have a great staff, just burning up the phones saying, "Hey, did you see us play? Come to the Rock, come get innings, come win championships, go to a regional." And since the LSU, the momentum has just not stopped.
Okay, so next, Coach, I want you to talk to me about this 2026 magical season that you guys went on.
Yeah, I thought, the biggest, I get asked all the time, last off season, the biggest kind of monkey on my gorilla on my shoulders was I wanted to make sure that Little Rock wasn't a one and done, wasn't just a team that, got lucky one year and got hot in a regional. I wanted to establish our program as a year in perennial power. And, had a lot of expectations at Little Rock. That was new. Success is sometimes harder to maintain than recovering from failure. And so our players knew it. We had a lot of guys returning. We did not lose anybody in the portal. Angel Cano had been the regional MVP the year before, and he came back, and others came back. And so played the regular season, had a great record, had some tough games, kind of outliers there, but got into the tournament as the 4 seed. Won game 1, lost game 2, had to end up winning 6 games.
Yep.
And did it again. And came through that, and a feeling of relief and excitement, knowing that we were going back to regional and we'd been there before, and we felt like having gone through the Baton Rouge regional and playing the eventual national champion, we feel like whatever regional we went to would have been maybe as tough, but nothing could be tougher, and we felt like we were prepared and ready for it.
Okay, so then next, I want you to talk to me about going to Hattiesburg for the regional.
Yeah, we didn't care where we were sent, did not matter. We were hoping to play somewhere that was drivable for our parents and for our fans. And when Hattiesburg popped up, selfishly, I was very, very excited because I have so many friends down there.
Yeah.
And I was excited to see Coach Scott Berry, my junior college coach, who he and Corky Palmer, and Hill Denson built Hattiesburg or Southern Miss baseball, but also thought that it was a regional that we could compete in. And Jacksonville State, and then Virginia, very good, but first year, head coach there. Obviously, he's a legend and a Hall of Famer, but he's still trying to rebuild it there. And they had Francia, the first rounder, and somebody said it was the number 2 RPI regional in college baseball, as far as just good baseball teams. And so had Southern Miss. We thought we might be a 3 seed, but we were a 4 seed, so we had Southern Miss. Full stadium again. They did a great job. Environment down there, something like 10,000 people, and we had a home run late there, Blake Simpson, to take the lead. And so then we're able to beat Jacksonville State the next night. What a club they put together, almost like 50 wins. And then Jacksonville State had to beat Virginia the game before us, then played again that night. And it was a close game all night, and we were able to hang on late to beat them. A great relief outing by Brody Bunting, who had struggled throughout the year, but pitched a 9-inning complete game in the tournament, which you have to have somebody who hasn't been doing it all season step up in a postseason to win. And we're able to go 3-0 through Hattiesburg.
Okay, so then next, Coach, after that, you have the Trojan War is what people were calling it.
Yeah.
Super Regionals against Troy.
Yeah, that was a fun environment because I think it put mid-major baseball on display. And I think the powers that be in college baseball realized that you don't have to play at a stadium that fits 10 or 15,000 to have a good regional. And, man, the Troy administration did such a great job accommodating everybody, and last minute, kind of putting that thing together. Their crowd was electric. Their fans were great, and made it tough on us. But we didn't. We felt like they were pretty classy for the most part, and they were hot as any team in the country. And I think that's the key to postseason play. You just got to be hot.
Yeah.
And we ran those 2 good left-handers. I think they both got drafted, Crutchfield, and then. Forgive me, the other ones may have been a 5th rounder. I think they had 4 drafts off of that team, and they were just hot. They did a great job, and they got out of the game, got away from us game 1, 12-2, and I think the next one was like 7-2. But that was yet another milestone, another stepping stone for us of a place that our program had never been. And I've said this before in many other interviews. I think Todd Butler said it to me, and I never forgot it. You got to get there before you can win it, and to be able to get there and experience a super. Now we know what to expect, and to be 18 innings from Omaha for Little Rock, that's just huge.
Okay, so next, Coach, I want to ask you this question. So with Todd Butler, he was originally just at Oklahoma and just won a national championship. I want you to talk to me about that.
Well, I think Skip Johnson is those are old Juco guys.
Yes.
Skip Johnson, I think it was Navarro, and then maybe McLennan, and another son Tyler, who he just brought in with him. McLennan as well, great human beings. Russell Rayleigh's on that staff, who was a former assistant of mine, but Todd Butler has always hit the junior colleges very hard. I think he was at Blinn. Back as an assistant before he went to Alabama, and he and Mitch Gaspard and Jim Wells built modern day Alabama baseball. In the 90s, I consider that modern day. I'm old, but there's always been a junior college background there for Coach Butler, and I know even on players that we wanted and tried to get, it seemed like Oklahoma was always in there after them. They were they're our neighbors. We're close by, and like. Well, who's talking to you? Well, Oklahoma. Like, gosh, dang, man, Oklahoma knows about every junior college kid in America, along with the portal, along with the high school kids.
Yes.
And so I think Todd Butler is one of the best talent evaluators in the country. And he was there 3 years, and really, along with their staff, helped get some of the best talent in America. And they were a offensive pressure, bunt and run and steal type program, but then they started hitting home runs. and
Yeah.
that's how they won the Georgia Tech regional, and then they, Omaha. And, I think that's a big reason why, Todd was recruited away to Florida, was
Yep.
because for 20 years now in college baseball, he's been one, the best talent evaluators and recruiters. And I think now at Florida, he's going to get to do some more hands-on coaching that is really, what he wants to be doing. But, he's just an unbelievable recruiter.
Okay, so next, coach, there are two guys that are in the minor leagues that I want you to talk to me about, and you coached them. The first one is Haas Brewer.
Yeah, Haas Brewer, Seminole Junior College, of course. His agent at the time had helped me out, give me a call, said I got a big right-hander here, and we weren't sure about Haas because he had a foot injury and wasn't
Okay.
throwing great, and so we had to go see him throw for the McKinney Marshalls in summer ball, and threw really well, brought him in, and was raw, but just like his name sounds, from Canton, Texas, just a big country, strong right-hander. But learned a breaking ball that now I think they call it the death ball curveball, whatever that means. But the Mets say he's got that curveball,
Yep.
and the way it tunnels and the way it moves, there's absolutely no loop in it. It goes straight down. But Haas is doing well. Just got called up to AAA Syracuse,
Yep.
and his brother Colton is a big leaguer. Has been up. So Haas is afraid of nothing, just like his name sounds. But I think his breaking ball is a major league pitch that's going to get him a shot.
And then another guy for you, coach, is Jackson Wells.
Yeah, Jackson's doing great. That the two totally different guys. Jackson is 6'1" right-hander. For him, it's command and pitchability. And don't get me wrong, the fastball is going to bump a 94, so there's some arm strength in there. But Jackson's going to locate. Jackson's going to command 4 pitches and have an arsenal and attack and be able to tunnel off of the previous pitch they just showed a hitter. And so the Astros, they really circled and liked his pitchability and command. But to have those guys, we had on the same staff.
Yeah.
And then we just had Brandon Westmoreland
Yes.
from Connors State Junior College inked his contract yesterday. And so he texted me, cool picture, and he's going to start camp today. And so it's good to see, Little Rock Trojans in minor league baseball.
So next, coach, I want to ask you this question. What do you feel like you guys do best to help develop those guys and get them to that next level?
We really create a professional atmosphere of showing up on time every single day. You know what you're going to do. You know what your routine is. You know what your plan is. You know what you need to do for the program. And we have a standard and expectation. And if you're not coaching it, you're allowing it. And so there are things that we demand, playing hard, a good attitude. We do not accept bad body language. We do not accept pouting. We talk about handling failure because, boy, this is a failure game. We all know that.
Yes.
And then we don't clone or robot anybody. We're able to evaluate what each guy does well and then what his weaknesses are. And, we polish his strengths and then we sharpen his weakness. And we communicate. We're not best friends with the guys. There's a coach-player relationship, but I think we're open to talking to guys, and we're honest. And I think our guys appreciate that. We tell them, you're going to get the truth if you come in the office. But I've been fortunate to have really good, instructors and developers and teachers here at Little Rock. We practice full speed all the time. We talk about, I know on the big leagues and TV, you maybe don't see those guys go full speed all the time. They're trying to conserve energy. The travel,
Yeah.
the 162 games, they play into October. There's just a different way you go about Major League Baseball. But in college ball, I mean, it's 90 miles an hour all the time. Hard 90s, dirt balls, hit by pitches, getting over, covering first, backing up bases, sliding, diving, hustling, all the things you're supposed to do. And we just demand it. And now we've been doing it long enough where the older guys teach the new guys what the standard is, and people have the guts to call each other out on it. And they help them understand that they're not talking down to anybody. They're trying to, they're not trying to call them out. They're trying to call them up and saying, hey, we need you, man. You're a good player. You're talented, but this is how we do it here.
Okay, so next, Coach, I want you to talk to me about the story of getting Coach Parker to come to Little Rock.
Yeah, ironically, the same person who called me to come on the interview and take the job at Little Rock 13 years ago. We had an opening on our staff. Coach took another job, which by the way, all of our coaches, when they have left here, have taken good jobs, and I've been happy for them. And I never want to hold our guy back, and I help them. But we had an opening, and I immediately got a call, and it really was a very, very short interview process. Knew who I wanted. We talked for a while, and what was told to me by my friend was, he is you. He is just like you. You guys are going to get along great. He coaches the game the same way. He is a great evaluator, a great developer, and he's from Arkansas, so he knows the area. And it was just an easy call, and it was almost as plug in and coach as you can get. I mean, he knew exactly how we wanted to do things because of very similar philosophies on how to coach, and has done a great job. We just promoted him to associate head coach, and he deserves that. I can turn and walk away from any aspect of the program and know that Matt has his eyes on it. I don't micromanage any of our coaches, and I don't try to tell them exactly what to do every day. We talk about what we want the finished product to look like and who we want to be, and I hire the best coaches I can and let them go work and do their job. And Matt has done a great job bringing in great players, and then not only you gotta bring in great players, you gotta develop them. And does an unbelievable job with our offense, coaching third, and infield play.
And also, Coach, I want to congratulate you on your new 5-year contract extension.
Thank you. I think that's a reflection of our administration and how much they value Little Rock baseball here, and they want us to stay consistent. They understand recruiting and the message that sends to recruits. Before that came out, I had a couple of guys, ask me, hey, are you leaving? How long are you going to be here? And to be able to coach at home and have that kind of stability, it means a lot, and it's important for our players too.
Okay, so next, Coach, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you some of the biggest topics in baseball and college sports, and I want to know your thoughts, okay?
All right.
So the first one, Coach, is what is your thoughts on NIL?
I'm happy for the players to go and have the opportunity to earn money based on the hard work that they've done. And, NIL is kind of the umbrella that encompasses, I think, what most people look at as the ability for players to make money. You actually have, 3 ways. You have the old school scholarship, what I call old school scholarship. It used to be 11-7. Thankfully, it's more now. Then you have revenue share, which now the school can actually pay them. Then you have NIL, which is the ability for the player to go out in the community and find revenue streams on their own. I think it's great as long as it's being used with the integrity that it was intended to use. I think baseball is probably as close to that as any other sport, and so I'm not against the players having an opportunity to earn money based on their hard work.
Okay, next, Coach, what is your thoughts on giving everyone 5 years eligibility now?
I think it cleans everything up and streamlines everything. I mean, Little Rock was right there in the middle. We had Nico Bamba in his 7th year. He had a 2019 COVID waiver. This is last year. Still had a COVID waiver, and then he had a Pavia waiver because he was in Division II. And good for Nico. And Nico, I just hired him on my staff as director of player development. And he's going to coach with us. But I like it. I think it cleans everything up. If God forbid somebody gets hurt, gives them 5 years. It gives the player a chance to play and earn what they deserve. It does away with a lot of the different and weird waivers, I'll call them.
Yeah.
And so
Oh yeah.
I think it cleans everything up and streamlines it and makes the college age student athlete in that 18 to 20 23 range. I think that's a good thing.
Coach, what's your thoughts on the pitch clock?
I was initially a little worried about it. Now I'm all for it. And just this weekend I was out recruiting, watching high school age players play, and I just caught myself in the stands going, "This is so slow." The guy stepped off 3 times. And I'm not dogging high school baseball. I love
Yeah.
it. I'm going, and I think there are measures already being taken to try as best they can to get the pitch clock into high school baseball because they need to get used to it going into college.
Right.
But I know there's an expense for the high schools. But man, I'm for it. I think it hasn't hurt the game. I think we've adapted to it very very quickly, just like the double base, just like the ABS, which I assume you're going to talk about in a minute.
Yep.
But it's one thing to hold a runner and try to defend the running game. It's another to step off and not throw the ball to second or step off and call the guy to the mound to get the signs. And I found myself just this weekend going, "Come on, fellas, we got to get it going." And plus, we like to play with pace. And if you
Yeah.
want more fans, you want to have a product out there that is fast paced.
Okay, so exactly what you said, Coach. My next question, I want you to talk to me about your thoughts on ABS, and also with you being a catcher, in the game of baseball, framing is everything. So I want you to talk to me your opinion on it.
Yep. Well, Major League Baseball and NCAA and especially Division One baseball are trying to get as closely aligned as they can because of the product and the players that college baseball is putting out, and how quickly they're making it to be. You talked about Ianson, you talked about Kate Anderson, and how quickly those guys are getting up. And so Major League Baseball, it's kind of a nod to college baseball and say you guys are doing a good job of developing. However, just like I said, I would like for the high schools to mirror what we do as closely as they can to prepare the players. Major League Baseball wants us to mirror them. Is it all perfect and good for it? That's high. You can debate that and talk about that. Um, Always, it's good for anyone to have accountability, and the for the umpires, they've gotten better and better. They all get a grade. We have TrackMan or a stadium tracker system. We see it the next day. The umpires know that's good for postseason, how to pick the best umpires. It's an objective way to go about it. And so it'll be interesting also for the players because a lot of time we're going to use it in our fall scrimmages for them to learn the strike zone. And we have actually, even over the past 2 falls, used our TrackMan to tell players in real time where that pitch was. If a guy takes a strike three, we'll in real time, where'd you think that was? No, come look at it on the screen.
Yeah.
And oh, that was way in. I actually caught the corner, and that's a pitch you need to handle. A pitcher once strike three. No, man, that's off the plate. And so you learn really quickly who has the knowledge of the strike zone, but we're going to have to learn the strategy. And I was watching a big league game yesterday, and somebody, appealed a pitch. It
Yep.
was like 1-1 count in the fifth with nobody on. It wasn't a leverage pitch. It wasn't a leverage
Right.
moment. And we're going to have to educate on our guys. Some of them will be banned from, appealing anything, and then some of them will trust at a high level. But we'll have to teach them when a big moment is, runners on base, late in the game, 2 outs, things like that.
Okay, so next, Coach, this is a two-parter. What advice do you have for players trying to get recruited? And then the second one is, what characteristics are you looking for in players that you're recruiting?
Sure, no problem. As we finish up here, because I've got to go to a meeting. But
Yes.
I'm going through this and living this right now as a dad. My son is going to be a junior, class of 28. Think he's going to have a chance to play some college baseball. I'm advising him now, just because the state of the game and how hard it is for a high school player to get on a 4-year roster because of the age of the players, how, the fifth year just got added,
Yeah.
and the portal and all the things that make it difficult for a high school player is, my advice is to find a place you can play and get innings and find a place that has a track record of developing players and sending them to the next level and those players being successful. Don't forget about your degree. My son's very smart. I've tried to tell him, hey man, don't even mess with this baseball thing. Just go be an orthopedic surgeon and knee doctor and make a bunch of money and retire at 45, man. But he doesn't want to hear that. He wants to play balls. But so anyway, what university can help him along that path? And I apologize. Your second question, can you repeat that?
Oh, yes. What characteristics are you looking for when you're recruiting?
Makeup and character, number one. I sat in the stands for 3 days this weekend watching players. I will be at the Futures game in Atlanta Tuesday through Saturday. The first thing I'm looking at is who takes care of their bodies, who looks like they could withstand the rigors of an entire season, who knows where the weight room is. Number two, who plays the game hard in the right way, who's a team guy who respects the game. Here at Little Rock, we're not looking for showmen. We're not looking
Yeah.
for guys that are trying to improve their social media brand. We're looking for guys that want to win a championship first, and
Right.
then we're looking for guys that want to be coached and told the truth and play hard. We do have fun at Little Rock. It's not military. But at the same time, it's a certain kind of player it takes to fit into who we are. And then the ability of a guy to be a good ball player, offensively. Do you go first to third? Do you go in the dirt ball? Do you hit situationally? Do you move a runner along? Do you get a runner in from third less than two? In travel ball and showcase ball, not everybody's trying to, have a good situational at bat. A lot of times they're just trying to hit the ball a long way, and there's a time for that. And we need to hit homers too. On the mound, strike throwers, command of 2 to 3 pitches, not just velocity, not just PR. Who commands the ball where we want it, and I think high school pitchers probably have a better chance of playing early as a group than high school position players. But those are just a few things that come top of my head.
So, with you guys recruiting JUCO, you guys have had a lot of success. Like we talked about Hosperer, Jackson Wells. So I want you to talk to me about Nolan Friend, though.
Yeah, the farmer.
Yes.
And I say that a little jokingly, but no, I think him being a farmer is a big part of his makeup and his character. The guy works his tail off, back home in the summer, and he understands, how to get up early in the morning and do what you're supposed to do and be accountable. But, Matt Parker did a great job of finding Nolan and making the decision on him. Nolan did not hit for a ton of power. And for a third baseman coming out of junior college, you look for,
Yeah.
some power. But we believed that he was going to hit for a high average. We loved his athleticism. He was a quarterback. He was a point guard. He was a shortstop in high school. We loved that. And he was the all-time hits leader at Cloud. And so
Yep.
the bat to ball was really, really high. And we thought that, we could help him look for chances to drive and backspin the ball in certain counts and certain situations, and he did. And he hit a few more homers this year, and I expect coming back next year for him to do more of the same. But then on top of that, the makeup and the character and the work ethic with Nolan are off the charts, and that's why he ended up hitting in our 3-hole.
Okay, and then, Coach, I have 4 last ones for you today. Next, I want you to talk to me about the culture of Little Rock.
Yeah, the culture is kind of what I talked about earlier. Number one, you're going to be on time, which any great organization, that's the number one rule. And being on time means I respect you. I respect, I'm going to show up where I'm supposed to be, ready to go. I'm going to represent myself, my family, and the organization in a first-class manner. And we're going to play the game hard. We're going to play the game the right way with great body language. We're going to help out in our community. And we're not going to be afraid or intimidated in any situation. And then we're going to be coachable to what the coaching staff believes is helps us win a championship, number one, and helps you develop as a player.
Okay, and then I have two last ones for you. It's going to be, what is your favorite game coaching? That's the first one.
My favorite game in the past, here at Little Rock,
Yep.
it's got to be the Sunday night game that we won against LSU for many many reasons. Number one, for the gravity of the moment. You know, rarely do you realize in a moment that this moment is going to be life changing for you personally, career changing, and I knew and we knew that as the moment was happening, it was going to change things. I also had a great sense of pride in our program because that was the biggest stage we'd ever been on, and our guys embraced it. They weren't intimidated by it. And they performed in it. And as a coach, I can remember the things we talked about back in August when no one was at our practices, those type moments. And so that one stands out. And then, of course, you win a regional championship. That's a big one too.
Okay, and then the last one for today, Coach, I want you to talk to me about this upcoming season with the 2027 team coming.
Yep. So, you've got a great portal class from last year. We were able to keep, again, everybody. Blake Simpson's back, Cade Smith. Of course, Westmoreland signed with the Diamondbacks. Completely happy for him and hoped that would happen for him and for the program. But you got Nick Bronzini back. Tag Andrews is back. A lot of the key players. Isaac Evenue, just before the 5 for 5, he got a waiver. That allows him to get another year. And so the core nucleus, Nolan Friend, Jordy Lopez, all those guys are returning. And so you got your core, but now that we've stacked 2 good years of success on top of each other at Little Rock, the caliber of player, the kind of guy that we've been able to have conversations with and get to campus and sign is still getting better and better. We got guys coming from Missouri, Arizona State, Mississippi State, and other places, along with our JUCO guys. We've still got a couple of high schoolers in there, and so the roster depth that just keeps getting better and better. That's a tip of the cap to again, my coaching staff: Matt Parker, Evan Lee, Charles Gravett, busting it during the spring and the summer of adding roster depth, and so. We filled in some spots we felt like we were a little thin, and eventually our goal is to be 2 deep at every place.
Well, Coach Curry, I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to come on here and talk with me, and you have fun in Georgia.
Thank you, my friend. Aiden, I appreciate all the hard work you guys do telling our stories and following us, and appreciate the way you guys grind and get after it. And Little Rock baseball is full of JUCO bandits, man. And we will always be that way as long as I get to be the head coach. And so if we can ever help you, let us know. And thank you so much, and go Trojans.
Thank you, Coach. You have a great day.
You too, Aiden.
Thank you.